You're watching Story Scroll. Real stories, raw emotions, and endings you'll never forget. Let's scroll into today's tale.
Original post. I never thought I'd be the guy posting here, but I don't even know how to process what's happening right now. I, 28M, have been dating my girlfriend Emma, 27F, for almost 2 years. Up until a few months ago, things were honestly great. We laughed a lot, had similar goals, and talked about moving in together next year. But lately, something's changed. She's been distant, constantly on her phone, and when I walk into a room, she flips the screen down like it's muscle memory. 2 weeks ago, she told me out of nowhere that she and her friends were going on a girls' trip to Miami for a long weekend. I said that sounded fun and asked who she was going with. She rattled off a few names. 2 of them were her usual best friends, but the others I'd never heard of. When I asked who they were, she got defensive and said, "You don't need to know every single person I hang out with, do you?" That was weird because I wasn't interrogating her. I was just making conversation. She added that it was a no boyfriends allowed thing and that I shouldn't take it personally. So I didn't push it. I told her to have a great time, kissed her goodbye, and tried to ignore that little pit forming in my stomach. The week before the trip, she started acting like a completely different person. She bought a whole new wardrobe, skimpy dresses, heels, bikinis, lingerie sets, stuff she never wears around me. She got a spray tan, booked a waxing appointment, started whitening her teeth, and even changed her perfume. I made a joke like, "You're going to come back with a modeling contract at this rate." And she just laughed nervously and said, "Just want to look cute with the girls." But it didn't feel right. She was constantly texting, smiling at her phone, and whenever I walked into the room, she'd suddenly put it face down or switch apps. One night, I caught her whispering in the kitchen, and when she saw me, she jumped and said, "Just talking to Jess about outfits." I wanted to trust her. I really did, but my gut wouldn't shut up. The night before her flight, she fell asleep on the couch with her phone beside her. I wasn't planning to snoop, I swear. But when her screen lit up, I caught the name of a group chat that made my stomach drop. Miami Babes. I don't even know what possessed me, but I opened it. And right there, among the list of people in the chat, was Tyler, her ex. The same guy she once told me was ancient history and barely a memory. The messages were harmless at first, talk about flights, hotel rooms, and outfits. But then I scrolled a little and saw things like, "Can't wait to see you again. This weekend's gonna be wild. Don't let your man find out." I took screenshots of everything. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. Then I locked it, put it back exactly how I found it, and pretended to be asleep when she woke up. The next morning, she kissed me goodbye like nothing was wrong. "Love you, babe. I'll text when I land," she said cheerfully. I told her to have a great trip and watched her leave, knowing exactly what she was going to do. I didn't plan on doing anything. I thought maybe I'd just wait until she came back and confront her. But the universe must have decided I needed confirmation, because the next day, I got a call that changed everything. It was her mom. She sounded cheerful and warm as always. "Hey, sweetheart. Just wanted to check in. Why didn't you go with Emma to Miami?" I froze. "What do you mean?" She laughed, thinking I was joking. "Oh, come on. She told me you two were finally taking that couple's trip you'd been talking about. Said it was a romantic resort. Just the 2 of you." I swear my heart stopped. "A couple's trip?" I repeated. "Yeah," her mom continued, completely unaware. She was so excited. Said you needed a little getaway to reconnect. I thought that was so sweet of her. I had to sit down. My girlfriend didn't just lie to me. She lied to her mom too. She built an entire fake narrative to cover whatever she was doing. When I could finally speak, I said softly, "I think there's been a misunderstanding. She told me it was a girls' trip." There was silence on the other end of the line, followed by a shocked, "What?" I explained just enough for her mom to realize something was off. Then I told her I'd text her something. I sent the screenshot of the Miami Babes group chat, clear as day, including her ex's name and the flirty messages. She called me back almost immediately, furious and embarrassed. "I can't believe she'd do this," she said. Don't worry, I'll deal with her. Thank you for telling me the truth. That night, I didn't contact my girlfriend. I wanted to see how deep her lies would go. She posted a few Instagram stories, boomerangs of cocktails, pool selfies, girls' night, captions. But something caught my attention in one of them. It was subtle, but in one clip where she's laughing at the camera, there's a male hand on her waist. Big, tan, clearly not one of her girlfriends. That was all the confirmation I needed. I took screenshots, videos, timestamps, everything. Her mom texted me again. She's going to regret this. Now I'm sitting here, staring at all this evidence, trying to decide what to do. She comes back Monday. Part of me wants to confront her the second she walks through the door. Another part of me wants to let her mom handle it, to let her walk right into her own mess. I'm not sure which would hurt her more, getting caught or realizing she got caught days ago and I let her think she was winning. What do I even do now? Should I confront her privately, tell her mom everything, or just sit back and let her expose herself? Because honestly, I don't even recognize the person she's become. Update 1. So, she's back. I honestly didn't plan to post an update this soon, but what happened last night feels like something straight out of a movie. She came home Monday afternoon, dragging her suitcase through the door, all smiles like nothing had happened. She looked tanned, rested, and in a ridiculously good mood. Hey, babe, she said cheerfully, wrapping her arms around me. I missed you so much. I hugged her back, but I didn't say much. I just wanted to see how far she'd take her act. She started unpacking souvenirs, a tacky shot glass from Miami, a t-shirt with flamingos, and a keychain shaped like a palm tree. I thought this would look cute on your keys, she said, handing it to me like everything was perfectly normal. I played along. I asked how the girls' trip went, and she launched into stories about pool days, brunches, and girl talk. Every sentence sounded rehearsed. She even mentioned how she barely slept, because the girls stayed up all night gossiping. I just smiled and nodded. Inside, I felt absolutely numb. Later that evening, I told her I was going to order dinner while she showered. She went upstairs humming, still oblivious. About 20 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. When I opened it, her mom was standing there, and she did not look happy. Her arms were crossed, jaw tight, and I could tell she'd been waiting for this moment. Is she home? Her mom asked, voice cold. Yeah, I said quietly. She's upstairs. Good, she said, brushing past me. We're all going to have a little chat. I didn't say a word. A few seconds later, my girlfriend came down the stairs, wearing pajamas and a towel around her shoulders. When she saw her mom standing in the living room, her face went pale. Mom, what are you doing here? She asked, forcing a nervous laugh. Her mom's tone was ice. So, she said, crossing her arms tighter, how was your couple's trip? The silence that followed was suffocating. At first, my girlfriend tried to play dumb. What are you talking about? She said, eyes darting between us. Her mom raised an eyebrow. Don't you dare lie to me, young lady. You told me you and OP were going on a romantic getaway. You even said you booked a couple's massage. My girlfriend blinked, clearly panicking. Wait. It was just, there was a miscommunication. That's when I stood up and opened my laptop, keeping my voice calm. A miscommunication? I repeated. You mean between your mom, your ex, and me? I turned the screen around. There it was, the Miami Babes group chat, with her ex's name front and center. I scrolled through the messages. The ones about seeing him again, about not letting me find out, about how it'll feel like old times. Then I opened the Instagram story she'd posted, the one where a very male hand was clearly gripping her waist. Her mom gasped, putting a hand over her mouth. My girlfriend's face went white. It's not what it looks like, she blurted. Tyler just showed up. I didn't know he'd be there. Really? I said quietly. Because your chat says otherwise. She stammered. We're just friends. Nothing happened. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, You told me it was a girl's trip. You told your mom it was a couple's trip. You told your ex it was a reunion. Who exactly were you honest with? Silence. Her mom was shaking her head. You humiliated yourself, she said in disbelief. You lied to everyone who loves you. What on earth is wrong with you? My girlfriend's eyes filled with tears. She reached out for me, pleading. Can we talk privately? Please? I can explain. I stepped back. No, I said. You can explain to your mom. She deserves to know what her daughter's been doing. That broke her. She sank onto the couch, sobbing into her hands. Her mom just stared at her like she didn't recognize her own child. I'm so disappointed in you, she said quietly. You had a good man, and you threw it away for what? A weekend fling with your ex. When she realized I wasn't comforting her, my girlfriend's crying turned into anger. You didn't have to involve my mom, she shouted. I just said, you involved her the moment you lied to her. She packed a bag the next morning and said she was staying with a friend for a few days. I didn't stop her. I didn't even ask who. I just told her to take her time and her stuff because I was done. After she left, I blocked her on everything. A few of her friends texted me, calling me petty and saying it wasn't that deep. I sent them the screenshots, the same ones I showed her mom, and then blocked them too. Her mom called me later that night, apologizing over and over. I don't know what's gotten into her, she said. I'm so sorry you had to go through this. I told her it wasn't her fault. She raised her right. Her daughter just made her own choices. Over the next week, word spread fast. Apparently, her ex bragged to one of his buddies about hooking up with his old flame in Miami. And that's how her friend group found out. Suddenly, everyone knew. Her girls, who were supposed to defend her, they turned on her instantly. One even messaged me saying, you were too good for her anyway. From what I heard later, her ex ghosted her right after the trip. He got what he wanted and disappeared. Didn't text, didn't call, nothing. She tried reaching out to me after that. First a simple, can we talk? Text from a new number. Then a longer message. I made a mistake. I don't want to lose you. We can fix this. Please, I miss you. I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it. A week has passed since she moved out. My apartment feels peaceful, quiet, but not empty. I've been sleeping better, eating better, and honestly breathing easier. I didn't realize how much tension I'd been living under until she was gone. The constant phone checking, the excuses, the emotional distance. It all makes sense now. Her mom texted me again today. She said, you did the right thing. Don't let her guilt you into taking her back. I won't. I can't. Because the moment she told me it was a girl's trip, she started packing for a different kind of journey. One away from honesty, respect, and us. She wanted a girl's trip. She got a one-way ticket out of my life. Final update. It's been just over 6 months since everything happened, and I can finally say I'm doing okay. Better than okay, actually. I'm doing great. After she moved out, I decided I needed a clean slate. I found a new apartment across town. Nothing fancy, but it feels like mine. No ghosts, no memories tied to betrayal, just peace. The first night I slept there, I remember waking up to sunlight coming through the blinds and realizing I didn't have to check anyone's phone anymore. I didn't have to question if I was being lied to. That kind of peace is underrated. I started therapy not long after. At first, I went because I wanted to get over her. But it turned into something deeper. I learned that I'd been ignoring red flags for months because I wanted to believe in the version of her I fell in love with, not the one who lied to me. My therapist helped me rebuild my self-worth piece by piece. I also got back into shape. The gym became my outlet. Every rep, every mile on the treadmill felt like reclaiming a little more of myself. I reconnected with old friends I drifted from because I'd been too wrapped up in her drama. Turns out, when your circle shrinks around the wrong person, you forget what healthy love, platonic or otherwise, actually feels like. Every now and then, I bump into her mom at the grocery store or around town. She always stops to ask how I'm doing and apologizes again for what happened. I tell her she doesn't owe me anything. She usually sighs and says, I still don't know what possessed her to throw away someone who actually cared. I never have an answer. I just smile and tell her I hope her daughter figures herself out someday. A few weeks ago, I found out what happened to my ex after Miami. Apparently, things with her ex-boyfriend, the one she risked everything for, didn't go the way she imagined. Word around mutual friends is that he ghosted her right after the trip. She tried to reach out, but he'd already started dating someone else, someone younger. From what I heard, he didn't even have the decency to end things, he just disappeared. There's a kind of poetic justice in that, though I don't take pleasure in it. I just think life has a way of leveling things out eventually. But the real irony came a few months later. She used to work at the same firm I do before she switched companies. Apparently, things went south at her new job, so she tried to reapply to our firm. HR reached out to me for a standard conflict of interest check since I'm now in a senior position. They asked, "Would you be comfortable if she were rehired?" I didn't even hesitate. I said, "No. It would be inappropriate given our history." That was it. HR thanked me for my honesty and moved on. A week later, a coworker mentioned that she'd applied but didn't get the position. She'd apparently told someone she just wanted to work somewhere familiar. She never realized I was the reason the application didn't go through. And honestly, it wasn't revenge. It was just me setting a boundary. She made her choices. I'm just protecting my peace. She's stuck now, jobless for a while, living with a roommate watching me succeed from a distance. I don't revel in that, but there's a quiet satisfaction in knowing I didn't have to lift a finger to get even. Time did all the work for me. These days, my life looks nothing like it did back then. A few months ago, I met someone new. Her name's Lily. We met through a hiking group I joined after therapy. She's kind, calm, and genuinely open about everything. There's no guessing, no anxiety, no walking on eggshells. When she says she's going somewhere, she invites me along or FaceTimes me from there without me even asking. That kind of transparency feels unreal after what I went through. But here's the thing. I didn't fall for Lily because she healed me. I did the healing myself. She just showed up at a time when I was finally ready to give love another chance. The healthy kind. Sometimes I think back to those days before everything fell apart, and I realize it wasn't the betrayal that broke me. It was how much I tolerated in the name of love. The excuses, the dismissive tone, the defensiveness. I kept telling myself, everyone has rough patches. When deep down, I knew something was deeply wrong. Now, I don't ignore those instincts. If something feels off, I ask. If someone can't communicate honestly, I walk away. No drama, no second chances for disrespect. The weirdest part? I'm not angry anymore. I don't wish her harm, I don't replay the lies, and I don't crave revenge. I've just let it go. Because at some point, I realized she already punished herself far more than I ever could. She'll carry the guilt and embarrassment of what she did for a long time. Meanwhile, I get to move forward without that weight on my shoulders. Sometimes peace really is the best revenge. Last week, I stumbled across one of her old gifts while unpacking a storage box. A framed photo of us from our first anniversary. I looked at it for a minute, remembering how happy I thought we were that day. Then I set it down, took one last look, and tossed it in the bin. No bitterness. No sadness. Just closure. Her trip to Miami cost her everything. Her dignity, her relationship, her reputation. Mine, the one I took towards self-respect, took me much, much further. And I wouldn't trade that journey for anything.
Thanks for watching Story Scroll. Hit that bell and stay tuned for the next story that will move your heart.